All right, let's talk about something that shaped history, built nations, and spread ideas all over the globe: public speaking. We're going to demystify this whole thing today, so let's dive right in. Okay, but before we get all artsy, let's just be real for a second. For most of us, standing up in front of a crowd, well, it feels less like art and a lot more like pure terror, right? It's a feeling pretty much everyone on the planet can relate to.
So that gets me thinking. Let me ask you this. What do you think is the world's most common fear? Just take a second. What's the first thing that pops in your head? If you guessed heights or spiders or, I don't know, even death, you'd actually be wrong. Turns out, for a huge number of people, the number one phobia is speaking in public. It's a fear that can feel, well, just totally paralyzing.
And yeah, it's so common, it's got a name: glossophobia. And what's really wild is that some experts think this fear is totally primal. I mean, think about it. Back in the day, if 100 pairs of eyes suddenly snapped onto you, it probably wasn't for a good reason, right? It likely meant you were about to become lunch for some predators. And that ancient, deep-seated instinct, it's still rattling around in our brains today. But here is the really good news. While that fear might be baked into our DNA, the tools to conquer it, they're ancient, they're powerful, and they are available to every single one of us. We just need to know where to look. That's right. The secrets to amazing public speaking aren't some modern-day life hack. Nope. They were perfected over 2,000 years ago by some of the smartest people in history. We're talking about the heavy hitters of ancient Greece and Rome. You've got guys like Aristotle, who basically wrote the rule book on how to be persuasive. And then, a few hundred years later, you've got Cicero, Rome's greatest speaker, who laid out a practical, step-by-step guide for crafting a killer speech. Okay, so let's start with Aristotle. He had this brilliant insight. To really, truly persuade someone, you can't just throw facts at them. You've got to connect on a much deeper level. And he broke it all down into these three, let's call them secret appeals. And this table just lays it out perfectly. First up, you need ethos. That's your character, your credibility. It's the reason the audience should even bother listening to you, why they trust you. Then you've got pathos. This is all about emotion. It's making the audience feel something right along with you. And finally, there's logos, the logic, the reason. This is what helps the audience understand your point. You see, a truly great speech isn't just one of these. It's a perfect blend of all three. Okay, so having those three ingredients, ethos, pathos, and logos, that's a huge part of the battle. But it's not everything. You also need a recipe, right? A structure. Because without a clear structure, even the best ideas can just fall flat. And this is where the Roman superstar Cicero gives us this amazing, timeless roadmap. Seriously, his 5 canons of rhetoric are pure genius. And the order is what makes it so powerful. It all kicks off with invention. That's just developing your argument, figuring out what you actually want to say. Because, hey, you can't organize ideas you don't have yet, right? Then you move to arrangement, which is structuring those points for maximum impact. After that, you've got style. This is where you pick the right words, the right tone to make your message really land. Fourth is memory. This isn't about memorizing a script word for word. It's about knowing your material so well you can talk about it naturally. And only then, once all that groundwork is done, do you get to the final step, delivery. That's the actual speech, using your voice, your body, your presence to bring the whole thing to life. And what's just so incredible is how little these core ideas have changed over the centuries. I mean, let's take a quick trip through history and see how they've been used. From the dusty forums of ancient empires all the way to the global stages we have today, these same tools have literally changed the world.
So you go way back to ancient Athens. You had the speaker Demosthenes, who used his incredible speeches to warn everyone about a looming threat from Philip of Macedon. He basically rallied a bunch of divided people to defend their freedom.
Now, let's jump forward more than 2,000 years. In Great Britain, you have Emmeline Pankhurst. She delivered these fiery, passionate speeches that totally lit a fire under the women's suffrage movement. She was using her voice to demand something that seems so obvious to us now: the right to vote. And then in our own time, think about a young Malala Yousafzai. She gave her first public speech protesting the Taliban's ban on education for girls. Just a kid, really. But her words echoed across the entire planet, and she became this global symbol for courage. See, the only thing that's really changed is the size of the stage. It's gone global.
Technology has created this massive worldwide auditorium. Platforms like TED and YouTube mean a single powerful speech can now reach millions, maybe even billions of people in an instant. Ideas can spread at a speed the ancients could never have even dreamed of.
So look, this isn't just a history lesson. This is about you. The very same principles that moved armies and launched entire movements, they can help you share your own ideas with way more confidence and clarity. So how do we actually put all this into practice? Let's break down some super practical tips. First, rehearse. But don't just read from a script. You want to know your materials so well that you can look people in the eye and actually connect with them. Second, organize your speech to grab their attention. You need a hook at the beginning that makes them lean in and an ending that they'll remember long after you're done. Also, use your tone and your body language. Remember, your words are only half the story. People feel your passion. Oh, and if you're using visuals, make sure they clarify, not distract. A good slide should make a complicated idea seem simple at a glance. And finally, this is the big one. Adapt to your audience's reaction. A great speech is never a monologue. It's a conversation. You have to feel the energy in the room and adjust on the fly. That's how you make a real connection. And that's really the key takeaway here. It's time to reframe that fear we all feel. Public speaking isn't some performance where you're going to be judged. It's an opportunity. It's a chance to make a real connection with other people over an idea you all care about. So, I'm going to leave you with this question. Every single person watching this has an idea, a story, some kind of knowledge that is absolutely worth spreading. The only question left is, what are you going to say?